Thumbs down.
Right.
JANGBRiCKS. Unsubscribe. Wait a minute. Subscribe. Unsubscribe. So first of all, who are you guys and what are you doing in my house?
That's a good question. It's very appropriate to ask at this point. Hi there, Joshua Hanlon here, and today I'm joined by JANGBRiCKS, and we're gonna sit here and have a talk about his history with the LEGO community, your history with YouTube in general, and then your approach to making LEGO videos. So I really appreciate you sitting down with me and going in depth here with me.
Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. This should be exciting. You can lay out all your secret nefarious plans.
Oh yes, oh yeah.
There you go. Well, to start off then, if you want to talk about kind of your history with YouTube in general, because obviously you're known for JANGBRiCKS and your LEGO related YouTube channel, but you've actually kind of dabbled in a lot of video related projects over the years. So talk about kind of how those adapted over the years.
Yeah, so I started doing videos for a previous hobby, which was radio control cars, fairly serious ones. And the first videos that I did were probably 2002-ish or thereabouts, you know, before YouTube existed, obviously. So, you know, you make the 320 by 200 super compressed little image, and then, you know, people blow it up and it's like, wow, there's moving pictures and you can stream it over the internet. It's amazing. But yeah, I did, you know, a handful of those for just, you know, individual projects, and some of it for fun, you know, just because it was cool to be able to make a movie.
Yeah, you're creating a whole video project.
Right, and then, you know, YouTube came around. I got my first channel, which is still up now, the Jang, on, you know, it's youtube.com/thejang. It was before you even needed to have the /C in there or anything, but that was around 2006, and I started putting some random miscellaneous video stuff on there just for the fun of it, and you know, dog stuff is forthcoming.
There you go. Get some dog updates.
Yeah. But mostly my radio-controlled hobby-related stuff showed up there. Eventually, I spread that out to a different channel and did a couple of channels. One of them got over 100,000 subscribers. Ultimate RC, it used to be called, and that was kind of my real professional start in the YouTube world. Where, you know, I started taking it a little bit more seriously. Did reviews there as well. All right, I'm here at NorCal Hobbies in Union City, California. I'm on the on-road track right now with the Hummer edition, the Robbie Gordon Dakar edition / two-wheel drive. You've seen the start of the Dakar rally. It's on the street, it's on asphalt, it's on tarmac. So let's see how this thing does on that kind of surface. I had to get out of that hobby just because it became very difficult to actually run radio control cars in this area.
Okay.
San Francisco Bay Area is a very populated space, and there's a lot of legislation, and, you know, people get mad about little cars running around, you know, and stuff. So it just became difficult to do that, and started to shift over towards the YouTube towards the LEGO YouTube stuff initially, just as an accent to kind of provide some additional media for blogs. I was doing blogs of originally Bionicle mocks, which were terrible at the time, but eventually to Hero Factory stuff. And I think my first videos on what is now called the JANGBRiCKS channel, originally LEGO Jang, and I had to get away from the potential, you know, trademark infringement of that.
We went through a similar change with that in the early days too. I think it's always tempting to just put LEGO in the title. We used to be a look at LEGO, and pretty early on we had some very good advice from some people that said, you know, you might want to consider changing that because that's going to be a problem down the road. Yeah. So as LEGO Jang, I think my first videos were actually reviews of the first Hero Factory sets.
Hey everyone, it's Jang from the unofficial LEGO Hero Factory Mocks blog, and today I'm going to be looking at the official release of the first series of heroes from the LEGO Hero Factory saga. These are 6 characters that are available for about $7 US.
So it was like, you know, Bionicle had been a thing, and then Bionicle ended, and then Hero Factory was coming as the new Bionicle, basically. You know, it's the new large action figure, large, you know, construction thing. And originally it wasn't good, but I kind of enjoyed it, and it got much better over time. And I mostly just focused on doing custom stuff. I started doing custom Hero Factory things, builds before Hero Factory itself was released, just using Bionicle pieces, and started putting mostly videos of those customs with funny little music backgrounds and narrations and stories for them, and kind of grew from there. I didn't start doing the brick-based stuff until 2013, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 2013. Specifically because I didn't want to get into the brick-based stuff, because I really wanted to get into the brick-based stuff. And I knew that if I did, I would never go back. I would never be able to do anything more. So I was trying to keep away from that. As much as I wanted to get into it, I knew that I needed to not go into that. It would have taken up all my time. But some things are inevitable, and I think I finally made the right decision to go with the right things. The brick-based Lego stuff that I've wanted to be into since I was a kid.
Hey, it's Lego Jang here with a Lego City set. This is a fire truck, set number 60002. 208 or 209 pieces, depending upon which source you look at. This was supposed to be a early 2013 set, but it actually was released in late 2012. This is a $20 set in the United States, most places where you can find it. Let's go ahead and open up this box and see what parts we get.
A little bit of Lego as a child, just a handful of sets, but loved getting into the catalogs and looking at what was possible and dreaming about, daydreaming about the possibilities there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a fascinating start to kind of how that all came together with your different video projects. And
this is BMO, by the way. He just, we live here.
he steals the show here, I'm sure. But while he's having fun, so then that was kind of your general video history there. Talk a little bit more in depth about your more Lego-centric history. I know you mentioned you had a little bit as a kid, but how did that kind of evolve over the years? Yeah,
just a little bit of desire to want to get back into that, over the years, through my teen years. Eventually, it wasn't until I was an adult and had my first permanent full-time job that I was like, okay, I've got a job, I've got a girlfriend, I've got a car, I've got a place to live. I don't own a place yet, but the main bases are covered. I want toys. So I looked into
like you've got the bare minimum, and now it's time for the fun stuff.
Yes. So I thought, okay, what things did I really, really want as a kid that I wasn't really able to get into? And there were two things. It was radio control cars and Lego. So I got both. I went down to Toys R Us. I got the baddest remote controlled truck that they had from Nico. And it was like $100, and it had digital proportional steering, and it went like 2 miles an hour. It was terrible. It was toy class, which it's fine for kids, but it kind of got me started in that. And I got some Lego stuff, and kind of tried to do the two. I got very heavily into both simultaneously, and even got into Mindstorms. Did some Mindstorms, custom robot builds, some autonomous stuff, and it just got to the point where, okay, I've got a girlfriend, I've got a job, and now I've got too many toys. I need to cut something back. So I decided around, I think it was probably about 2002 then, when I decided to cut out Lego from that. And I had a bunch of stuff by then. I had bought, I want to say, over 10,000 pieces between different sets, and mostly just the basic brick boxes. And I was building a Lego city where I worked on just kind of the half-height wall above the cubicles,
Like the city was already, that's the very seeds of the city within your cubicle.
That was my friend. And I called it a Lego city and everything, but I took and just boxed all that out, broke everything down, boxed it all up. I still have those parts. Some of those parts are in my constructions in the modern city to this day, but I just focused on the RC cars and trucks for some years, and just went full ham into that. I made a lot of custom projects, did a lot of reviews. It's kind of where I started the whole white background thing, was actually for the RC cars and trucks, to just focus on the products themselves, and have no distractions. I didn't want the channels that I did for those to be about me. I wanted them to be about the products. And that's really where I grew up as a YouTuber, and became a YouTuber proper, was through that hobby. And eventually was not able to to do that so much anymore and started into the Lego stuff in 2010 with the Bionicle and went into the Hero Factory, and the rest is history.
And you've been into it ever since, yeah. But it seems like you sort of, would you say you're a type of person who enjoys collecting things in general? And
yeah.
You've got RC and some other stuff that I know you're into.
My first collections as a kid were free stamps, like the WWF, not World Wrestling Federation, but what was it? World Wildlife Federation, I think it was called. Yeah, they would send out the little packs, asking for donations, and they would have these, animal themed or endangered species themed stamps, and I would collect those, and I'd set up a binder, 3-ring binder, and had them set up and had coins, just regular coins. Anytime I could find old pennies from the 1940s or something, it's like, this is my oldest thing. Had a Dremel tool and would polish them up. I was so proud. Make my own custom little packets with a little bit of cellophane and some cutout cardboard or cardstock from a cereal box, or anything that I could do. So yeah, I've definitely been into. I have the collecting gene. And people who have it know exactly what that is and what that feels like. You just have to do it. You just want to do it. I think it's probably the same gene that came from like actual pack rats, actual little pack rats. It's just a thing that control is part of you, and you want to do it. And that's definitely gotten into the Lego world. I've tried to keep it out as much as possible because it can get really expensive, really, really expensive. But at least being able to have so much Lego stuff and having so many different themes to go through has helped to kind of satiate that need. Other things that I've collected include knives. A lot of people have seen
very different from Lego.
The pocket knives show up. I got my first knife from my parents when I was 7 years old. They taught me knife safety, and I still have that knife to this day. But more recently, actually with the radio control car-based stuff, when I would do unboxings, I started doing unboxings because other people had been doing them for like tech stuff, unboxing phones and laptops and stuff, and I was like, why do people want to watch that? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I started doing it because people wanted to see it, and I was unboxing stuff anyway. So okay, take it into the studio, a couple of soft boxes and a couple pieces of foam core, and unbox on film. And at that time, I would use occasionally just random objects as my unboxing tools, where I would just kind of hide a knife in something and just use like a fake lemon and just hide an X-Acto blade in it and just I will now and not even
mixing up the unboxing.
And not even talk about it. Not just okay. Let's see what's in here. It's just this random thing. Or it's a dog bone or something random. And then eventually, I like knives, so started collecting those and started using them in the Lego unboxing videos. And then I also do little kind of miniature reviews of those on my oldest channel, the Jang channel. Just little quick thoughts on them.
Yeah, and I think unboxing videos are still like a big part of YouTube today. So that's still
I don't know why. Why do people want to see that? I guess there's that kind of vicarious, living through someone else's experience thing, but still, it's just somebody opening a box. But if you want to see it,
you never know.
I'm going to open the box anyway, so I'll just press record, and if you want to see it, you want to see it. There you go. If you don't want to see it, don't. Just don't. Don't force yourself.
So you mentioned your original site, like the Jang and stuff, which brings up, I've always wondered, how did Jang come about as kind of your online persona?
Okay. Jang stands for Just a Nice Guy, and it's like my 5th or so online alias that came from the 90s. So I first got online in 92, 93, thereabouts. I've been online continuously since late 93.
Wow.
Back when it was bulletin boards. I mean, the internet was around by then, but it wasn't well known, it wasn't popular, it wasn't easy to get on until it started around 95 or so. But yeah, on the bulletin boards, and I would go on there and chat with people. And I was a teen, so I was trying to figure out who I was and who I was going to be in this online world,
this
which is
new
a whole
world
new thing.
That was coming out.
Yeah. You kind of got to define it for yourself.
Yeah.
You could have an alternate ego if you wanted. You could play a part in an online game and bring that outside of the game if you wanted to be, your representation of yourself. Tried different stuff and had various confusion like you do, as you're growing up, and eventually, settled on Jang. And I added the part to the beginning of it to be just a kind of a self-deprecating kind of joke, you know, the kind of the jocks that would be like, I'm the Steve, you know, so I was like, I just added the Jang so that people could make fun of me more easily. But.
As if you need to make that easier on the internet.
Right.
They seem to
Little
be able
did
to
I
do that
know,
fine.
little did I know, yeah. This was before memes, this was before even Dancing Baby.
We're going way back here. I think that was before I was born, so you know.
Oh wow, okay.
That was quite a while ago from my perspective.
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least. There you go. Yeah, so that is interesting to hear about how your kind of persona changes over the years, and how you like you said, you're kind of figuring out your identity online.
Yeah. You know, while growing up, once I became adult, I knew where I was, where I stood in life. You know, always try to grow continuously through life. But yeah, I'm kind of just me now. You know, and the name just stuck.
Yeah. So then, focusing more in on your Lego-centric stuff that you're most known for today, if you can, when you kind of take us through what your day is like when you're recording Lego videos and what that typically, the experience is like for you when you're doing review videos or recording for the channel. Yeah,
so I do all my recording of voice live kind of with the video, so I don't do voiceovers except on rare occasion. So it'll be, you know, I get the products built. My wife does a lot of the building of the just regular themed sets as well, and you know we'll work together when new big release waves come out. We'll both be building at the same time. Sometimes I'll record stuff to do speed builds, but that's kind of that's not been my forte, and I don't have a good setup that I really like for recording speed builds. But once I have the stuff together, you know, I'll spend some time just kind of looking at it and seeing how any action features work, and you know, get a good idea of what it's about. If it's about a theme that I don't really know myself, then I'll do research online.
So there is sort of a research aspect to it.
Yeah,
then as well.
If I don't know, like the Harry Potter stuff, you know, my wife is the Harry Potter freak between the two of us. And when the movies were still coming out, you know, I was just like, enough with Harry Potter. Yeah, go with your friends, go watch Harry Potter. I don't want anything to do with it. I watched the first movie to you know, get a little bit of proper background while building the sets, you know, that came out just this year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I get it. This is actually cool, you know. But you know, having for the reviews to actually know a little bit about what I'm talking about, if I don't already know, you know, then it's important to get that background and to really understand it, and to not just have, you know, the words, the keywords, but to get why is this important. If it's something I already know about, then I just go straight to the studio and start filming. And I'll do multiple takes. You know, you'll see my videos are obviously edited. You know, there are a lot of different takes in between. But he's going after my button that I just lost. A lot of people probably have noticed by now. There's a missing button.
Keen-eyed viewers.
Yes. But yeah, so I do retakes as necessary, but it's still just fresh voice recording with it, and it's just, you know, the stuff that you see there, go through all the features, go through the minifig stuff, and then go straight to the computer from there. You know, while the camera's not even fully turned off, go straight to the computer, download the clips, and I'll usually have. I mean, it'll vary how much extra footage I have. Typically, I'd say maybe for, let's say, a 10-minute review, what will end up being a 10-minute review, I might have 20 minutes of footage in total. And some of that will be, you know, retakes, and some of it will just be extra. Some of it will be stuff where I rambled, and I'll end up cutting that off.
I'm sure that's easy to do when you start looking at a piece and you just kind of you're trying to talk about it and stuff, and then eventually you decide, well, that wasn't really necessary.
Yes. And, you know, my videos, a lot of people will concur that a lot of my videos are too long. You know, so, you know, sometimes that still gets through, but some of that I will manage to take off. And if I need to take off so much where it cuts at an awkward spot, then I might just redo a little bit of the end there, so, you know, it seems more natural between cuts. But I try as much as possible to just talk naturally as kind of stuff comes to me. And then, you know, did you do the editing? The editing, again, for, let's say, a 10-minute video, editing might take 20 minutes, might take an hour. Yeah. You know, and then the rendering will, you know, take the rendering and then uploading and waiting for YouTube to transcode, you know, will be another hour or something. I've got some pretty powerful equipment computer-wise, but it's still, you know, extra time that's taken. And upload and get all the, you know, the metadata prepared and stuff, and off it goes to the world, and then I find out that I said there were 3 minifigures, and there's actually 4.
And there's 1,000 comments letting you know that that's what you said.
After all that work, there's that one thing. There's that one button that gets missed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how it always is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So then, do you have any type of like schedule then with your videos? Do you like record certain days, then release those over the next week, or have you tried to get on a schedule like that?
Yeah, so I do work 7 days a week most of the time, and it's usually within a day of when I record is when you see the video actually come up. Sometimes it'll be the same day, that it'll be recorded, all the work will be done, and then it'll be uploaded. And in terms of the time when I upload, I usually try to go for a time that I've experimented. I've tried uploading at all different times and just looked at the data and see when people from what countries come in. And now it tends to be really late at night or really early in the morning, just because I've got a global viewership. And only barely 50% of my viewers are in the U.S. Just barely.
Yeah, that's actually something I was going to ask you about, because I've always been surprised looking at our own analytics and how many people outside the country, outside the U.S. are watching. Since we obviously are based in the U.S. and most of the shows we do are in the U.S., I'm still surprised that there's so many people that watch from.
Well, fortunately, Lego is universal.
Yeah.
Even if you don't understand the language. I mean, most. Us Americans typically have one language that we know. Some of us know 2, but the rest of the world, English is a second or third or fourth language that they understand well. So, there's a lot. It's a lot easier for folks outside of the U.S. to understand us than it is for us typically to understand the rest of the world. So we don't have that perspective, I think, that a lot of the world has of, this is just more content. It's just another language. And at the in the worst case scenario, you can turn on subtitles and get the terrible auto translation.
Yes.
That'll get at least some of the keywords in there, and some of them completely wrong. But at least you can see the stuff. And everybody enjoys looking at a nice Lego build, I guess. Because it's just such a universally positive thing, and it's all about construction. So literally and figuratively, it's a very constructive hobby, so that it makes people feel good at the very least.
And it's so visual, like you said. Even if there's maybe a bit of a language barrier, but you can still enjoy seeing the builds and everything.
Right.
So it works really well. Yeah. We also had a number of viewers that sent in questions that we wanted to ask you as well. Great. So we'll definitely hit on some of that, as well as some more of your other YouTube-related channels as well here in the future. So one thing was, and I'm sure this is a somewhat common question maybe, is what is your favorite set that you've had? I'm sure you get that a lot, but I couldn't leave without asking you that.
God, it's such a rough one. I just did an interview with JANGBRiCKS. Of course, the Brick, those are great guys. Great resource, and they asked me that same question. It's such a rough question because there's so much good stuff. I mean, I can draw into the nostalgia of the old sets that I either had or wanted as a kid, from the catalogs, or the big builds, the more complex stuff. I can look at stuff that I've kept as kind of an indicator of what I obviously like, but yeah. The question I gave to them, the answer I gave to them was the Metroliner set, the kind of Amtrak theme set. It was first released in 1991, and then it was re-released in 2001. And this is the 2001 version. And I got it off eBay, mostly in pieces. It was labeled as a 95% complete original Metroliner set. Trains, I love trains, and that's one that I've kind of kept together because I liked it so much. I have modified every bit of it, but I've tried to keep it fairly close to the original. So that's an answer that I can give you,
Sure, I mean, there's just such a massive backlog that it's very difficult.
Yeah, if you ask me the same question again next year, I'm sure the answer will be different, but there's an answer for you.
That'll have to make fans happy
for now.
Another question that a viewer sent in was, do you have a video that maybe you're most proud of, or maybe one that you kind of posted out there and you're like, this turned out really well. I'm really happy with how this went. Yeah, I guess the mall tour video.
My all custom Lego shopping mall.
It was a long time ago, and in that I show shots of the city as it was. I guess it was 2015, maybe even 2014. I don't remember now, So and the build itself is not that great, but I just had so much fun doing it. I put so much detail into each of, such as I was capable of doing with the knowledge of building I had at that time. But I put a lot of detail and thought into each of the little stores in there, and took kind of inspiration from real life for those. And the video itself has the kind of fake old 70s mall music, or probably even late 50s.
Hand build covers two 48 by 48 base plates and uses an estimated 10,000 pieces. From the outside, you can see a number of store display windows, and along the street level, there's a whole lot of random signage.
It was just a lot of fun putting it together, and a lot more fun to see the end result when it all came together. Yeah, just a tour, kind of almost from a minifigures perspective, which is really what the minifig scale builds are all about, I think.
Yeah, so it is always nice when you have those, maybe a handful of videos out there that you're like, this represents me really well, and you think this is kind of sort of a peak, and you're really proud of that.
Yeah, typically, honestly, I don't really like my own work. I guess part of it is just never being satisfied, always knowing that I can do better, should do better, but I just try to do the best that I can, and take cues from the viewer feedback, and improve things, and kind of throw stuff out there.
see what catches on.
Yeah.
But that sort of not always being happy with your own work kind of segues nicely into a question that I also wanted to make sure I ask you, that a lot of people are interested in, is your voice, which at this point has become very iconic. Obviously, that's what you hear in the background of every video. So I know a lot of YouTube creators say, "Oh, I can't listen to my own voice, recorded voice, or whatever." Is that a problem for you, or what's your approach to that?
It was a problem for years, from before the Lego days, from the RC days. Yeah, I would just absolutely hate listening to my voice, and I've intentionally altered it over time. If you go back to stuff from my older days, from like the Jang channel, you'll hear it was a little bit more buzzy and insufferable. So I've tried to improve that, and the biggest thing is just producing constantly and having to hear that voice all the time. I've kind of gotten numb to it.
But a lot of people enjoy it. Certainly, it's a good thing, I think, from a lot of fans' perspectives. And it's, I think, a big part of your channel now.
It's weird how that works, because I actually have a lot of viewers that tell me they are not really into Lego, and they watch my videos to help them go to sleep at night if they have anxiety.
Like an ASMR sort of thing.
Yeah, which is a little bit creepy, a little bit weird, but if it's helping them, that's cool. That's cool. Don't tell me about it, but I'm glad.
Just enjoy that in the privacy of your own home.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I suppose there are worse problems to have on YouTube than a very iconic voice. So you should be able to survive, hopefully.
Yeah. Sometimes I get that when I'm gaming as well. People will be like, whose voice is that? That guy would make a really good Batman. I had a number of my friends will remember a particular incident in Destiny where we're doing a raid. It was like a high-level activity, and you do it with a few friends, people and then some random people as well. You'll match make together, and there's somebody in the background. It's like, hey, you have to say, I'm Batman. You have to say it. You have to say it. Say I'm Batman. Say I'm Batman. We're trying to take on these huge bosses that have these complicated mechanics. We have to go in a particular order. Yes. Say I'm Batman. I'm Batman. Yes. You say it again. No, that was it.
Have people recognized you from your voice ever? Has anyone ever?
Yeah, every once in a while it happens. Actually, in another raid activity, in Destiny, just probably a month ago, there was somebody who said, who just said that? Who just said that? And then, but he kept it cool. We went through like a 1 hour activity. It has all these different steps, and then at the end of it, when we were successful, we beat the main boss and everything. It's like, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm a big fan of your videos and stuff. Like, oh, thanks, man. It's like, yeah, I've been watching since I was a kid. You can hear that in his voice that he's almost an adult now. So it's like, wow.
You built that audience with you.
Yeah. So from time to time, somebody will recognize me. It's fun to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really neat. That's always fun when people have followed your work like that.
Yeah, as long as they don't follow me a little bit too closely.
Right. There is a line you don't want to cross.
Right.
Don't get any ideas out there, anyone. Yeah, That is a good point. But so obviously you can tell from the, you mentioned Destiny, and I think you play a number of other games as well pretty actively. And I was looking at your channel obviously before we came over here, and I noticed that some of your most popular videos are gaming related ones with like looking at the dinosaurs from some of the games.
Lego Jurassic World.
Hello, hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Jang here, and I'm a big scary dinosaur thing that never existed in history and never existed in the game until just very, very recently, because this is my promise to look at the dinosaur customization features in Lego Jurassic World, and I have studs coming out of my knees.
Yeah, that was purely just an experiment. I've only done just a couple, maybe 2 or 3 games in total that I've done in the Lego space that I've published on JANGBRiCKS. And yeah, the viewership on those Jurassic World ones is crazy. They're some of my most viewed videos day to day. And that was years ago when those were made, It was just an experiment. It was just something I thought, let me just try doing something different, because it's good to challenge myself to kind of get outside of my own box, and get outside of the white background, And yeah, I've been gaming since I could game, since I probably played the first game when I was, I don't know, it was probably before the 80s. It was probably like 79 or so when I played my first Pong game. We actually had a Pong console we got from Radio Shack, and that's what it did. It played Pong. You hook it up to your 13-inch black and white Zenith TV, and you play Pong, and that's it. And
you're happy with this one game, and that's all you
And it was awesome. It had sounds, and you could control it, and the ball would speed up. It was so high def, high quality.
These days, they don't know how well they
don't know. You just don't know. But yeah, so I've been gaming pretty continuously. I would say that's my main other hobby that has stayed with me throughout life. And yeah, I decided to try the Lego thing. And again, I think I was terrible at it. Just with the real-time narration and not having a good grasp of the background material. I'm not a big Jurassic World fan. I've enjoyed them, but just casually. But yeah, I just tried it, threw them out there, and they really didn't get much viewership early on, which is why I decided to stop and not do more. And it wasn't until probably 6 months to a year later they started to get picked up, and now they're just crazy. I don't understand. I don't know why. I wouldn't mind doing more gaming videos. I mean, obviously, gaming stuff is very, very popular. Even just people doing streams all the time.
Yeah.
It's just whatever they're doing, not even trying to engage the audience all that much, just sharing what they're doing. It's fun. I game whenever I can. But yeah, maybe someday I'll have some space in my schedule to do more of that. But for now, it's just not a priority.
Have you thought about Twitch streaming at all? I know now it seems like that's a kind of a big thing, is YouTubers going over to Twitch and expanding with live streams there.
That's one thing that I definitely don't want to do.
Okay.
Live streaming is something that I want to stay away from, mostly for the sake of sanity and also safety. There have been a lot of really nasty incidents with swatting and stuff. That's when you're doing something live, it allows those nefarious individuals to get that instant feedback. They're like, oh, look, he stopped. That's because of me. I did that, which is just an awful, awful thing. So live streaming is something that I won't get into. But just recently, YouTube announced this YouTube Premieres feature, I think they call it, where you do delayed live streaming, where you record in advance, and then you can put the video up and just take your own time interacting with the fans as it goes. Now that's an idea that I really, really like the idea of, because one of the other things that I don't like about the idea of live streaming, like Build, for instance, is that viewers expect you to interact with them, of course, right? And that's going to slow things down. It's going to cause you to make more mistakes, and it's tough to go between this is the main thing that I'm doing, but this is the main thing that I'm doing, but this is the main. Wait, where was I?
It starts all getting mixed up, and you don't know what you're doing.
But yeah, I think I might try out that Premieres thing at some point, because it seems like a really good idea to be able to have that long form kind of video, that live sort of video, but have the time to really interact in real time and be able to make fun of yourself. Like, did you guys see that? Be one of the people saying he said 3 right there. It was actually 4. Be a
Now
part
you
of
can
it.
get it all as it goes.
Yeah, and actually have fun with it. Rather than being like, leave me alone, guys. Just leave that.
Just trying to make some Lego videos.
Yes, yeah. So I would like to try that out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speaking of new YouTube features and kind of expanding into other types of content, I definitely wanted to ask you about kind of your experiences with YouTube as a platform. Because that's all something I find very interesting to talk to other Lego YouTubers about, is kind of how that's worked for you over the years, and what are some of the maybe the challenges and some of the pros and cons of that experience.
2015 was awesome. Yep. 2015 was awesome. I miss 2015.
Good year.
Yeah. Since then, numbers have been down. So it's becoming more difficult to do YouTube full time. And to get the revenue off of that. People's interests have changed, and the YouTube algorithms are certainly very difficult to stay on top of. There was a time when you knew what you needed to do to kind of get the viewership that you deserved. If you deserved it, you knew what you needed to focus on, in terms of length and, your keywords and, thumbnails and all that stuff.
Right.
But those things don't matter so much anymore because it's all just this algorithmic learning process that's always changing on the back end. So, nowadays it's kind of a fight, and, you'll definitely see me trying more different things and kind of adjusting a little bit more dramatically to some of the changes over time. Certainly there's been a move towards making channels more niche oriented, doing fewer and fewer different types of content. I've tried to do different things just to keep my horizons broadened, and the algorithms really don't like that these days. So, the possibility of splitting up some different types of content, not too much, and trying some different things is definitely coming up. But yeah, if you want to be big, it's very rough, but certainly there are still lots of opportunities, and you see every month or so, you'll see a new Lego channel that's very worthy coming up and getting some viewership and some recognition that they deserve. So even though it's very, it's more daunting, and you see a lot of people like me complaining about, how tough it is, woe is me, I have to build Lego all day, every day,
It's tough. You take one for the team.
Yes. But there are some actual hardships behind that. But even in the face of that, there's still plenty of opportunity. And I would definitely encourage anybody who wants to get into YouTubing, Lego YouTubing, just do it. Just start, and know that, like me, you will be terrible when you start it, and just be okay with that right from the start, and just enjoy it. It's cliche to say, and just do what you enjoy, but try, just try stuff. A lot of it won't work, and if you have fun with it, that's the most important thing. Treat it as entertainment for yourself that you just share with other people, and if other people catch on to it, then great. If you want to get more viewership and you want to kind of start to focus in on things that you can do to get more viewership, to get more subscribers, then feel free to research around, see what other people have done. There are plenty of tutorials. They change over time, but learn about it, but keep yourself. Try to hold on to the part of you that you enjoy, that people share in that enjoyment with, and just keep yourself, and as long as you can keep enjoying it, that's definitely the most important thing. It's cliche to say, but it's definitely
people can tell if you've lost interest in what
absolutely
you're doing.
Absolutely. I mean, some of the biggest YouTubers out there, like was it Sky Does Minecraft? Was it? I think it was that he quit completely from his channel. He was he had millions of subscribers, and he just started to hate it. He absolutely hated it. And he quit completely. You don't want to get to that point. He was really successful, but success isn't enough. The big numbers is not enough. If you hate yourself, if you hate what you're doing, you will take years off your own life, and it's not worth it. So keep it on the positive level for yourself, and other people will benefit from that too.
Yeah, that's some very good advice there. And I know you just recently passed 1 million subscribers, which I definitely wanted to congratulate you
Thank
on
you,
as well.
thank you.
That's
thank
an
you.
impressive number, but even with that large of an audience build up, I know it's kind of tiny to what we were just talking about. Is there ever any fear there that, you know, as YouTube tastes change and viewers tastes change, that even with that big of a number, maybe people will start to move away and the audience just kind of moves on eventually?
Yeah. I mean, that's already happened over time. You know, there was a time when you would have 10,000 subscribers and, you know, 5,000 to 7,000 of those would be active. You know, now I have 1 million subscribers, which is just a crazy number. I don't even understand the number itself.
Right.
You know, it doesn't even make sense.
A lot of these analytics kind of get lost with just all the numbers.
But, you know, I have maybe 100,000 people that somewhat regularly, you know, follow me. And, you know, I put up a new video. If it's really popular, it'll get, you know, 100,000 views. You know, and that's great. So over time, you know, the distance between reality and what the number says has definitely grown quite a bit. And it's, you know, it's been a continuous, like I said, 2015 was a great year. And since then it's been, you know, there's definitely been a decline in stickiness, you know, of content to people. And, you know, that's gonna happen. You know, some things don't last forever, and you do need to adjust if you want to kind of stay on top of viewership and, you know, being able to still be able to get some good revenue out of it. If that is a goal, then, you know, you have to adjust to that. And yeah, it's happening. It will continue to happen, but I'm not scared yet. You know, I'm just brainstorming and thinking of how to react and keep it going.
Sure, yeah. Always adapt and everything. I think that's what, and no matter what you are, whether it's YouTuber or a lot of things in life, it's keeping up with the changes and adapting to make sure you can stay ahead of everything.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, you know, I was able to just plop down right here while watching TV and just start building, and now we've got this BMO monster running around and he puts hairs and things, so, you know, it's all good. It's all good.
Gotta change it up. Was doing YouTube full time as like your job like a dream of yours, or was this just kind of something that it worked out that way, and as you grew, you're like, this is maybe something I could actually do?
So
full
YouTube
time?
in particular, definitely not. That was not something I was ever looking at. When I did my first serious YouTube channel for the RC stuff, it was just to bring in extra media to kind of augment. I was running a forum, you know, and I would do some, you know, static-based content. I would do written reviews with photographs and stuff, and then I started bringing in videos as just, you know, just to have that extra media, since it became easier for, you know, bandwidth, you know, people's bandwidth increased, you know, literally coming to their homes, you know, no longer 14.4, you know, modems. You know, it became more reasonable to do video content and to have it consumed, and it just started to take off. And it was actually before the Lego channel came up that I was doing full-time YouTube and, you know, and website stuff. Actually quit my job, just, you know, built up some savings as a buffer and put my focus on that. And on the Lego stuff, on the Lego side again, it was a hobby on the side of a hobby when I most recently got back into it after kind of my second dark age. And it was just, I had blogs about the large action figure stuff, and it was just to do some extra media to be able to show stuff, you know, 360 degrees rather than having, you know, 360 photographs, you know, to show. And it kind of grew organically, and I just rolled with it.
And I think that's really the way to do it. With similar situation with Beyond the Brick as well. It was certainly never something
I've seen you. I've watched you guys. I've seen you.
So I would have never dreamed that this would ever become like a full-time thing that we could do. But you know, if you consistently put out content and everything, I think that's obviously a big key, and you can grow it to that. Yeah. But if you set out from the very beginning, like, to make a ton of money, and that's your only goal, then I think you're going to have troubles actually growing the channel.
That can be rough. That can be rough, because you'll do it. You're ultimately going to be doing it for the wrong reasons. I mean, there's nothing wrong with making money. There's nothing wrong with, you know, paying your bills and stuff. But people enjoy entertainment because it is entertaining, you know, not because it is making money. And a lot of great things have come out of the desire to make money, like Transformers and Voltron. You know, I mean, all that stuff was done just to sell toys, but it's awesome, you know. But the people that did it loved it, you know, and they love it to this day. You know, you look at people who did things that were ultimately just for money, but they're on the back end and they're doing the creative work. To this day, they love it. You know, they're just so into it, and they just, you know, had that passion that just drives everything they do, and it comes through in whether it's physical product, whether it's writing, whether it's art. You know, they're artists that make a lot of money, but they still have to enjoy it, you know.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Another aspect of kind of YouTube and Lego that I wanted to touch on that's been in the news recently within the Lego community is kind of copyright issues. I know well covered was the Brick Show YouTube channel having to shut down due to copyright issues. So have you had problems with that over the years, or what's kind of your approach to that and making sure you avoid running into those problems?
Yeah, so before I got into the YouTube stuff, so still doing the blog stuff, I would try to show the leaks of new Hero Factory stuff when it was coming, like Hero Factory 2.0. You know, and I did get some actually kind letters from Lego at that time, you know, saying, you know, this stuff isn't supposed to be out. Can you please, you know, take that down? And I'm like, hey, I didn't do it. I didn't steal it. But, you know, just to, you know, be, you know, understanding of their position and, you know, to keep a good relationship. Yeah, you just take it down. It's no big deal. But since then, you know, I learned my lesson very quickly. I got threatened by not Lego, but one of Lego's cronies, basically. They have a whole legal organization that is dedicated to just basically not even acting on Lego's behalf, but on behalf of Lego's licensees' behalves or licensors' behalves, like Disney and, you know, whoever they're getting licensed themes through. And they threatened me on some of the Star Wars reviews that I did, where I bought the sets because they were on shelves. I bought them. I had them physically. I didn't get them off the back of a truck, and I reviewed them. You know, and they sent me a very nasty letter. It wasn't from Lego. You know, Lego's been very cool, but yeah, they sent me a very nasty letter and had to go through a whole thing with. You know, I did take the content down, and eventually Lego itself, from what I heard. Internally, there was a lot of turmoil. A lot of people were like, "That's Jang. What are we doing? What are we doing?" So I appreciate that they understood, you know, that position, and where Lego itself was ultimately supportive behind that. But I just want to say about the Brick Show thing, that really sucks. I mean,
yeah,
you know, they were just such an icon of the Lego community. Whether you know, eventually liked their content or not back then, or some of their later stuff, still to have all of that body of work just disappear just hurts, and it just feels not right. I hope eventually they'll be able to get some of that back up, you know, at least some of the old stuff, because I know they really enjoyed, you know, the work that they did for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, they were kind of some of the original, or maybe even the original kind of Lego.
They were very early on.
So.
Yeah, when I started taking the reviews seriously, I was like, you know, my ultimate goal. I know I'm never going to be, you know, more popular than the Brick Show, but my ultimate goal would be to get, you know, close to that. We're going to be like the Brick Show and Jang. Yeah, you know,
you'll take
like,
second place.
Heck yeah. They were the ones, you know. Well, yeah, that's unfortunate. From what I understand, you know, they made mistakes, and you know, were caught on that, and it's just. Whether it was their own fault or not, it still sucks.
You don't want to see all that work disappear from online for sure. Yeah. It's very unfortunate. Yeah. But you mentioned in there earlier about how you know, with those legal problems, you made sure that you had like bought these sets that you reviewed, you know, from a store and everything.
Yeah.
So is that typically how it works for you? Are all the sets that you review all just bought from a store? Is that typically how it works?
Yeah, I
you don't have any, you know, super secret, you know, warehouse?
No. Yeah, Lego has reached out to me a number of times over the years and said, hey, can we send you stuff? And actually, the stuff that I started the channel on, the first Hero Factory sets, were sent to me by not Lego, but by one of their UK like media partners, you know, that worked with influencers and stuff. They sent me those sets, and I gave the sets that they sent me away as a giveaway, and then bought the sets additionally, you know. But since then, I've been like, okay, because I have experience from my radio controlled channel where I actually would get stuff from manufacturers from time to time, and that stuff I eventually had to cut off, because even with the folks that I would trust the most, that had, you know, like family-owned businesses, and you know, where it was very, very well understood up front in writing that I'm going to say what I think about this set or about this product, no matter what. You understand that. You're sending it to me. I will graciously accept it. I will thank you for it. I will note in my video that I got it from you guys, but I'm going to say what I think about it. And if it breaks, I'm going to show that. If it sucks, I'm going to say it sucks. And always, every single time, over time, it would go from, oh, we appreciate your feedback. We'll take this as constructive criticism. was that really necessary? Until
it got a little more hostile.
yeah, and eventually, I got on this one conference call with this one big company, and they had like a product designer and a marketing guy and just high level folks, and they're just like, yeah, so we wanted to talk to you about some of this content, and I'm like, yeah, let me tell you what I think about this situation right here. And from then on, I had to cut it off. So with the Lego stuff, I go to Target, I go to Walmart, I go online. I try to use Amazon as much as possible. I've had a Prime membership for some years now, which is worth every penny when you buy a lot of stuff. And Toys R Us, RIP, they were a major source. And eBay, stuff that gets released, overseas before North America or before the Americas. Oftentimes I'll try to get from overseas. I used to get stuff from eBay sellers from Korea or from the UK. It's become more difficult to do that because prices have shot up and then shipping costs have gone up quite a lot. So I'm not able to do that quite as much anymore. But yeah, it's all stuff that I actually purchase at full retail price. It's just easier that way. I'm perfectly capable of receiving a product for free, appreciating it, but still telling you honestly what I think about it. But it's just easier to not have to deal with getting the pressures from the companies themselves. However nice they are, still that stuff will bleed through.
Because at the end of the day, one of the probably biggest benefits of being on YouTube is you kind of control everything. You don't have producers or other people behind the scenes that are telling you what to do. So when you bring those other people in, then you start losing some of that freedom.
Yeah. Whether you want to or not, it happens. It happens. Yeah.
And then another thing I've noticed watching your videos over the years and kind of seeing how you interact with people online is kind of definitely the close relationship people feel with you as they watch your videos and everything, and people have watched for a number of years. So talk about kind of how you've built that and what your approach is to the comments section, for one thing, which is always a controversial part of YouTube, and how you deal with certain types of comments and how that works.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't respond to nearly as many comments as I would like to, just because it's such a slippery slope and it would take so much time away from me that I wouldn't be able to put out as much content, which is what people really want. But I try to engage whenever reasonably possible. Just kind of balancing that. And I do have manual moderation for all comments across the entire channel, and it's myself and family members that control the moderation queue to keep it clean, to keep it as family friendly as my videos themselves are. Fortunately, the Lego hobby itself is just so constructive and so positive. It's all about toys and bright colors that it tends to attract a disproportionate number of nice people, of all ages, which is just a great basis, a great starting point. It's so that community. This community is so much better than the radio-controlled car community, where it was just
PTSD there.
Yes, for sure. A lot of compensation. Old, adults who wanted to be big race car drivers and thinking that their little cars make them better people than everyone else. But fortunately, we get very little of that. The egos are kept well in check in general. Lego community is definitely one of the Lego fan communities, one of the better ones on the internet, I would say, just in general. But still, you get stuff that bleeds through, and it's kind of the drama culture on the internet has continued to build, unfortunately. It's just it's an easy thing for people to get into. It goes all the way back to the Donahue show or whatever. Just people getting entertainment out of seeing others' misfortunes, basically.
Jerry Springer's.
Yes.
Let's just watch someone's life fall apart or something.
Exactly. Even though a lot of that stuff was fake, but still,
exactly.
The desire was there. So some of that has bled over more and more. I've seen over the past couple of years, which is really unfortunate. I hope that people who are leaders in the community will kind of rally against that and kind of hold our general ethics. You don't want to force morals on anybody. It's free speech is definitely the best speech, but there's a lot of stuff that's unnecessary. So like I said, myself and moderators will just keep things clean, keep the language clean, and keep any threats and personal attacks out of it. Criticism, I love constructive criticism. When it's genuine. Some of the best feedback that I've gotten has been negative feedback with just people that just want to see me do better. You know, which, I mean, what more can you ask
Yeah.
for as people that not only enjoy what you do, but want you to do better and are going to take so much time out of their own lives, you know, rather than just going video to video or whatever, you know, doing this, they're going to stop and they're actually going to give you long form feedback saying, here's what you did that I didn't like. Here's what you can do that will make me like you better. I mean, what can be better than that? Criticism is better than positive feedback, ultimately, to make you better, you know, better as a person, better at what you do. But I really enjoy the positivity too, you know.
Sure. Yeah, you want a balance there.
Yeah.
You don't want a lot of criticism. But yeah, it's really great when somebody kind of buys into your content and cares enough about your
Exactly,
channel
it's that
to
caring.
give you that
Yeah,
criticism.
caring back. Yeah.
So have you found that, I know you also have a Playmobil channel that you do as well. Have you found a similar thing with the community over there and kind of the reaction to those videos?
I think I think there is even nicer, kinder-hearted people. I think the Playmobil figures are just a little bit more toyish, a little bit more fanciful, which kind of has an automatic filter. You know, it's the medium itself is kind of in some ways. If, you know, what you're physically dealing with is kind of a filter to what type of people will be into it. But yeah, I've had pretty good success over there as well with good people and good positive, you know, reinforcement.
That's always helpful. And even on your main channel, JANGBRiCKS, you do non-Lego related content. So
yeah.
What is your approach to that? How do you decide? Is there a certain percentage of non-Lego stuff you shoot for? Or is there just kind of whatever you find interesting in addition to the Lego stuff?
Yeah, so I try to cover all of the Mega Constructs stuff for the advanced themes that are things that I'm personally interested in. Like I started out with the Halo stuff because I've been a fan of Halo for, you know, actually, you know, the game Halo, the series, for quite some time. And so I think it was 2014 is when I switched from Lego Jang, the name, to JANGBRiCKS and started doing the then Mega Bloks Halo stuff. And it was for, I think it was Halo 4 sets that they had come up with. And they got the Prometheans, you know, so yeah, it was just something to branch out. Again, just trying more different things and not getting, you know, not pigeonholing myself. And nowadays, unfortunately, they have not been able to put out a lot of material. So, you know, I haven't been able to put a lot of that out. Also, there's just so much Lego stuff that comes out. It's tough to make space for anything else. You know, just there aren't enough hours in the day. You know, like I said, I work 7 days a week on this stuff, and you know, doing 1 to 2 videos a day, usually averaging about 1, you know, just kind of takes up most of my time. And then there's a lot of stuff in the background that you don't see of, you know, managing the space of the sets that have been reviewed already. You know, what do you do with those, and taking apart if necessary. And you know, so I just don't have a lot of space in my life to do additional things. But I try as much as I can. I still try to follow the Mega Constructs Halo stuff, Call of Duty stuff. I haven't been able to do as much, but you know, sometimes some other companies that are actually doing original work, you know, none of the actual clone stuff. I hate that stuff.
You won't see Lepin on JANGBRiCKS?
No. I'm trying to think. Would I ever do something about Lepin? It would have to be really, really evil. It would have to be, I mean, I would have to be mad throughout that.
I'm just going to sit down and record a Lepin video.
Yeah, because I really despise that stuff. I despise theft and people just, you know, profiting off of other people's work. Is just, yeah, it's not good. And a lot of people have said that, you know, Mega Bloks did that, but Lego had originally been a copy of KittyCraft bricks, and the patent had expired. You know, so the stuff that Mega Bloks, now Mega Constructs, has done has been all, you know, legal, and they've fortunately also expanded so much beyond the work that Lego did to establish the system. You know, they created so many different new pieces that were useful, not just specialized pieces for a specific theme or a specific, you know, aircraft build, but stuff that's useful for making complex builds and direction changers and stuff, many of which now Lego is, you could say, copying. You know, Lego is coming out with pieces that are exactly the same or almost exactly the same as Mega Constructs has had for years now. So that's another reason that's good to branch out and to, you know, see what other companies are doing. And I did at least a couple of the Airfix, I think, model kits that are basically like snap together model kits, you know, low end plastic model kits, but with Lego compatible connections. So when you put it all together, you see just a car and it's all smooth, no studs. But as you're putting it together, it's connected with Lego compatible stuff. You know, so there's some interesting stuff out there, and I want to branch out as much as possible. It's it's a little tough. It's a little tough.
This is the point where all the Lego purists shut off.
Yes, yes, yes. Thumbs down. Right. JANGBRiCKS. Unsubscribe. Wait a minute. Subscribe. Unsubscribe. Just on principle. Yes.
But yeah, also just the themes they make as well. So things like Halo and stuff
Right.
that Lego won't touch because of their different policies.
But
I mean,
now-
are really great themes.
But now Lego is doing Overwatch.
Right. Yeah.
What is up?
What's happening?
That'll be really interesting to see. I look forward to it. You know, I love, like I said, I love gaming and first person shooter stuff and sci-fi stuff. I love. So the more we can get in Lego, the better.
Have you played a lot of Overwatch? I've never actually played the game, so I'm not
So
familiar with
Overwatch in particular, I have not.
Okay.
I played just like the demo. You know, they had on Xbox Live. They had a trial period. You know, just to see what it was all about.
Sure.
But, personally, I'm more Halo, Destiny these days. I've done Gears of War, and I mean I go all the way back to the Quake 1 days. You know, fully offline. And the first person shooter I ever played was the first person shooter, Wolfenstein 3D. You know, back at the DOS-based computer swap meets, they would have the shareware version on
Wow.
on display, and you go up to it, and it's just keyboard, no mouse, just keyboard. You know, and yeah. So yeah, I definitely look forward to more of that. And it'll be interesting to see how Lego deals with that separation of the violent themes, which they said they would never get into, that other companies have been able to profit off of, rightfully so. Like Kobe, the Polish company, has done all these great military kits, which and their parts quality is really good these days, really good. So there's a lot of non-Lego compatible stuff that are brands that make things that Lego never would. That's good quality stuff. But it'll be interesting to see how Lego starts to move into that territory that was formerly completely off limits to them.
Yeah, I think as the original generations of the Lego founders and people like that, and it gets further and further removed from that kind of original idea, I have a feeling you'll probably see more of that content coming out from Lego.
Yeah, and it's not bad stuff. I mean, it's a controversial topic to talk about, violent video games and stuff. But I like I said, I've played violent video games my whole life, and I'm not a violent person. Yeah. So I think there are a lot of other factors involved in that, and I think that a lot of kids have made tanks with actual Lego bricks, and they're still okay. So
Yeah.
I think it'll work out okay. Yeah. We'll see.
It's always fun to see where that goes in the future then now. But another thing I definitely wanted to ask you about is kind of other YouTubers that you watch, and are there any other YouTubers, Lego related or not, that kind of inspire you and that you kind of pay attention to, that you would even maybe recommend to people watching out there that you would suggest following? So unfortunately, for two main reasons, I don't watch a lot of other YouTubers, especially in general, but especially in the Lego space. First of all, the whole thing about how I don't have that much time to do stuff. Well, I don't have that much time to do stuff. And when I do have time, I try to game or relax, Sure.
But so I just don't have the bandwidth. The other major reason is that I specifically don't want to take inspiration from other people's work, especially custom work, because it's just too hard to see something that's really, really cool and to not have that imprint on you, and to ultimately end up creating something that's based on that's inspired. And I don't want to accidentally copy anybody else's work, not just with creations, but also with kind of my video style and such. But definitely, it's the cheesiest possible thing to say right now, but I definitely would recommend Beyond the Brick.
We slipped him a small pile of cash before the interview.
but I mean, just the stuff that I appreciate about what you guys do is just the breadth of coverage that you do, and the fact that you focus on people's actual work. You don't make it about yourselves. You make it about the work that that so many people are doing, and you bring so much stuff to the surface. It's really great. Brick Bros UK also is a very unique channel. They do a lot of alternate builds using just the pieces from one set, and they're just really, really good folks in general, And beyond that, I just have not been able to look around all that much. I've got some recommended channels on my recommended channels bar. Check some of those out, see if there's anything you like. But just in terms of, you got to go see these guys. sorry, I just don't
No,
know.
that's understandable. Like you said, focus on creating your own content, making that as good as possible, and that's much more beneficial than just watching a lot of other YouTubers and hoping you'll maybe glean something if you actually focus on improving your own.
Well, I mean, there's two sides of that, right? I mean, like for instance, in not going through like Flickr accounts of other truly great, not other, excuse me, of great Lego builders, I miss out on so many techniques. There's so much that can be learned, and there's nothing wrong with learning from what other people do and building upon that. As long as you give credit where credit is due, if it's appropriate. So, I'm definitely not saying that my way is the right way. It's just what works for me.
Sure. Well, we got the clip of you saying you watched Beyond the Bricks. I think we can shut it down.
Okay,
now.
we're good.
Really
We're good.
That's the only reason we came here.
And brickset.com. I definitely recommend them because it's just a fantastic resource for news that comes up pretty quickly, and they kind of aggregate and again give credit where credit is due, and they have just that unmatched database of the sets, going all the way back to the beginning. So it's just a really great.
Hugh's
resource.
awesome though. The work he's put into that over the years is incredible. Certainly.
Talk about passion, putting passion into something.
Yeah, that's really amazing.
And another very humble guy to be behind the scenes.
Yeah, he's a fun guy to chat with. But another thing I wanted to ask you about was I believe if I did my research correctly before coming here, when you were in university, you studied, was it plant biology?
That is correct.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. So
stalker.
I gotta look into it a little bit. Yeah, I didn't call up any colleges.
Right. Yeah.
Related to that, obviously, Lego has recently announced the switch over to plant-based products.
Yeah.
And that whole switch. So since that's what you studied, I'm sure you've thought about that. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that whole switch and kind of where that's headed.
Yeah. So the whole eco thing is never as straightforward as it appears on the surface. As a kid, you think recycle everything and renewable and eco-friendly everything is great. It's a great way to think about things, but in reality, eco-friendly things are not always so eco-friendly. Most of the carbon dioxide, I think the majority of the largest portion of carbon dioxide produced today is in the generation of electricity. So your electric car, it doesn't have anything coming out the tailpipe, but that energy still comes from somewhere. And my own, it's kind of like a political perspective at that point, but from my perspective, fossil fuel related stuff still has its place, and it still is energy efficient for many things, more so than many alternatives. But the idea of making Lego bricks from plant-based plastics, I mean, I've been looking into plant-based plastics since I was in college, and even before then. I had subscriptions to Popular Science magazine and stuff, and it was just, this idea was really, really cool, and that's one of the directions that I wanted to go if I continued on with the plant biology direction for a career. But yeah, it's great if they can do it in a sustainable way that is not ultimately hurting more than it helps. When you actually look at the reality of the full cycle of producing the products, of how much is sequestered by the plants themselves, how much fertilizer is going into groundwater, the full system. And I think they are looking into that. They do seem to have a pretty holistic approach to their eco-friendly directions, which is really important. They're not doing it just to slap a green colored label on something. So I think that's really good. And I think that plants are a great way to get sustainable and renewable resources. They give us oxygen, and they give us fibers, and if they can give us plastics too, that's great, as long as, again, it's done smartly.
In the right way. Have you had a chance to play around with any of the plant-based bricks yet at this point?
So I think the only ones that they've come out with, so if I'm not mistaken, are the only ones that they've come out with on the market so far are actual plants.
Okay,
like Lego plants.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, and it's the same. I mean, there's the same chemical compounds. They're ultimately refining and changing the compounds into the exact same plastics as before. So there's no difference, and you can't tell one from the other, unless, I don't know, maybe they changed the number, like the lot numbers on them or something, maybe.
But a minor detail.
I haven't noticed anything, which is perfect. That's the ideal thing, is we can still get quality, we can still have things that don't fall apart, still have as much usefulness as before, and if they can do less harm to the earth, excellent. That's win-win.
There you go. Well, I think then final question from here is, where do you see yourself kind of in the future? Do you see this YouTube as being kind of a long-term thing at this point? We mentioned you just passed 1 million subscribers. Is this something you think you'll be sticking with for the long term?
For the foreseeable future, yeah. I don't have any plans. I don't have any exit strategy, that's for sure. Like I said, I will definitely be trying some different things, different types of content. You'll probably see some more different channels from me. Be sure to go to jangbricks.com/verified to make sure that you're looking at an actual channel that is mine and not just something that somebody slapped my name on. But I'll be very explicit about new stuff that I create. But yeah, I think that I enjoy this stuff. I like being able to talk and not having to write. I like writing as well, but it's just so natural to be able to kind of be there with your viewers, with your audience, and hey, look at this, and actually turn it. I like that. I like that medium, so I'll probably stick with it for quite some time. I don't know about forever. You never know what will happen in the future, but for the foreseeable future, I'll definitely continue.
Sounds good. Then we will look forward to all of the future content from you.
Thank you.
And you never know what's coming down the pipeline, it sounds like. So good stuff. Thank you very much. I appreciate you sitting down with me.
Good talking with you.
Yeah. One last thing I wanted to ask you about, I just remembered. Are you Ganesh?